loved. They sacrifice sleep, dignity, even identity, just to hold on a little tighter. They think the tighter they grip, the safer love will be. But love that is strangled cannot breathe, and a love that cannot breathe dies. What detachment does is release the death grip. It opens the hand. It says, I will not shrink myself to be kept. I will not beg for crumbs when I was made for the feast. I will not sacrifice my soul for your fleeting attention. In that moment of release, something powerful happens. A woman who was bent under the weight of fear suddenly stands tall. She no longer walks into a room asking silently, "Am I enough? Will they notice me?" Instead, she enters with a presence that speaks before she utters a word. "I am enough." Whether you see it or not changes nothing. That presence is not arrogance, it is truth. And truth radiates. A detached woman no longer fears loss because she has found herself. She is not running after anyone because she has learned to run with destiny. She is not clinging to be chosen because she already knows she was chosen by life, chosen by God, chosen by the very breath in her lungs. This is the power that men cannot resist, because what man can turn away from a fire that burns steady, not desperate, not frantic, but steady. Detachment transforms the very atmosphere around her. The same woman who once was overlooked now becomes the center of gravity in every room she steps into. Not because she chases, but because she doesn't. Not because she demands, but because she doesn't have to. Her silence becomes louder than her words. Her stillness becomes more magnetic than her movements. She is no longer the one asking to be loved. She has become the embodiment of love itself. And here lies the great paradox. When you detach, you do not lose, you gain. You gain respect. You gain clarity. You gain the strength of walking away from what diminishes you. You gain the power of being pursued instead of always pursuing. Men cannot resist it, not because of some trick or game, but because it reflects the deepest truth about love, that it must be freely given, not forced, not clung to, not begged for. Detachment is not about closing your heart. It is about opening your eyes. It is about saying, "I am whole, with or without you. I am valuable, with or without your validation. I am radiant, whether you stay or you go." And when a woman embraces that truth, when she lives it, breathes it, embodies it, she becomes a force of nature, a river that flows without asking permission, a flame that burns without needing fuel from another, a light that shines unstoppable. This is why detachment is power. It does not make her less. It makes her more. It does not harden her heart. It strengthens her soul. And in that strength, in that freedom, in that wholeness, she becomes irresistible. Emotional freedom is the breath of the soul. It is the moment when the heart stops living as a prisoner to fear, to rejection, to the endless craving for someone else's approval. So many live in invisible cages, chasing after love yet never tasting peace. They hold their breath with every silence, every delay in a text message, every shift in tone. Their hearts rise and fall not with their own spirit, but with the unpredictable tides of another's attention. That is not love. That is bondage. And bondage steals life. But when a woman chooses emotional freedom, something sacred happens. She takes back her power. She realizes I do not have to be ruled by the fear of being left. I do not have to bow down to the terror of being alone. I do not have to surrender my joy every time someone pulls away from me. Emotional freedom breaks the cycle of desperation. It whispers, "You are whole," even if they never come back. Imagine a bird that has been caged for years, convinced the bars were protection. Every day it sings, but its song is muted because deep down it knows the sky is beyond reach. Then one day the door swings open and the bird hesitates, fearful, uncertain, conditioned to believe it cannot fly. But when it finally spreads its wings and takes that first leap, the truth floods in. It was made for the sky all along. That is what emotional freedom feels like. It is not the absence of love. It is the discovery of self beyond the fear of losing love. The power of emotional freedom is not coldness, it is clarity. It does not numb the heart, it heals it. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop being controlled. It is the strength to say, "Yes, I feel deeply, but my feelings will not chain me. I may love you, but I will not beg you. I may want you, but I will not destroy myself to keep you." That is the language of freedom. When a woman enters that space, she begins to radiate something rare in this world: peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on circumstances, but the unshakable peace that flows from within. Men sense it immediately because peace is magnetic. They are used to being chased, needed, demanded of. But emotional freedom carries a different energy, an energy that says, "I am at rest with or without you," and that rest is irresistible. To be emotionally free is to reclaim your joy. It is waking up and realizing the sun rises whether or not he calls. It is laughing without fear that the laughter will be taken away. It is loving without losing yourself in the process. It is living as though your soul has roots too deep to be shaken by someone else's storm. And here is the miracle: when you stop clinging, love often finds its way back to you. Because true love is drawn to freedom, not captivity. It flourishes in open hands, not clenched fists. When you detach from fear, when you let go of control, when you choose to live whole instead of half, life begins to flow back to you in ways you never imagined. Emotional freedom is the highest form of beauty. It is not painted on the skin, it glows from within. It is not loud, yet it silences the noise of insecurity. It is not desperate, yet it commands attention. And when a woman carries that freedom, she is not just attractive, she is unstoppable. This is the gift of release. This is the power of letting go. And this is the secret: when you set yourself free, you become the kind of soul no one can resist. Mystery is the hidden fire that awakens pursuit. There is something unexplainable, something sacred, about a woman who does not reveal everything, who does not pour out every thought, every feeling, every move into the open. Mystery creates space, and space creates desire. Men are drawn not to what they already possess fully, but to what they cannot completely grasp. It is the unknown, the untouched, the unspoken that stirs their spirit into motion. When a woman is too available, when she explains every emotion, when she lays bare every fear, she leaves nothing for the imagination, nothing for discovery. The chase dies not because she is unworthy, but because she has given away the very essence of what awakens longing: mystery. But when she pulls back, when she holds her dignity like a crown, when she chooses silence over pleading, she becomes something a man cannot define, cannot control, cannot pin down. And that is what draws him closer. Mystery is not about playing games. It is not manipulation. It is authenticity wrapped in confidence. It is the ability to say, "You do not get all of me unless you've earned it. My soul is not a free offering on the table of convenience. My spirit is not a toy to entertain you when you're bored." A mysterious woman knows that her worth is not in how much she gives away, but in how much she guards. Think of the night sky. Stars scattered in brilliance across the dark canvas. You could spend a lifetime staring and still never uncover all its secrets. That is why it mesmerizes us. That is why we keep looking up night after night. It is not the clarity that captivates, it is the mystery. So it is with a woman who carries herself with depth, with silence, with strength that does not need to explain itself. She becomes like the stars, always shining, never fully grasped. Men crave what they cannot easily define. They are intrigued by the woman who does not answer every message immediately, who does not melt at every compliment, who does not rearrange her life to fit into theirs. Instead, she carries herself with an air of, "I am enough without you, and if you wish to know me, you must rise to meet me." That is not arrogance. It is sacred worth. Mystery ignites imagination. It keeps the fire alive because it refuses to let the flame burn out through overexposure. The woman who understands this is not cold. She is warm, but not reckless. She is open, but not to everyone. She gives pieces of herself slowly, deliberately, like treasures entrusted only to the worthy. And in that slow unveiling, desire deepens. This is why men cannot resist mystery. It awakens the hunter within them. It calls them to rise, to pursue, to value. Because what comes too easily is too easily discarded. But what remains just out of reach becomes priceless. So the power is not in giving everything away, but in holding something back. The power is not in begging to be seen, but in choosing to be discovered. And when a woman embraces her own mystery, she becomes unforgettable. She becomes the song that lingers long after the music fades. She becomes the fire that cannot be explained, only felt. And that is magnetism.